So I've talked about deserving nominees and forgotten nominees. But this time, I'm going to talk about Oscar-nominated performances that are a little bit of both. What is the criteria for inclusion in this video? Well, basically my opinion, for whatever that's worth, but also the nominated performances and films themselves were not ones that were big money makers or perhaps not even on every Oscar nerd's list. Now, this doesn't mean that all you're going to see are actors that nobody knows or were one-hit wonders. This video will feature some familiar names, along with some others who have done some Oscar-worthy work, but perhaps aren't as well known outside of our special circle. Oh, for this video, I'll narrow the categories down to lead actor and actress. I'm Michael, aka Oscar Man. Let's start things off with an actor you probably know.
You know what I wish? We should get off our asses. Let's go down to the horse and play some poker. What do you think?
What about Peter?
Hey, look at me. Peter's my son. You're my best friend, okay?
So why is Paul Newman here? He was definitely well known, a bona fide movie star and box office champ, as well as a 9-time Oscar nominee for acting. Well, 1994's Nobody's Fool wasn't exactly a sleeper, but it is, I think, among Newman's lesser-known works, in which he gives one of his best performances. As Donald Sully Sullivan, Newman portrays an uncomplicated character whose relationships with family and co-workers sometimes gets complicated.
I could legally shoot you and get away with it.
Not unless I'm breaking and entering.
Are you gonna break and enter?
Yeah, what's happening with Dummy?
I don't know. He took my threat to shoot him a lot more seriously than you just did.
Well, the poor guy just had a bypass. Maybe he's trying to cram everything he can do into 6 months. When he realizes he's going to live until he's 70, he'll slow down.
Paul Newman was great in Nobody's Fool. He even got the chance to have a little lighthearted fun here, showing a mischievous side he rarely got to exude with his previous characters. Nobody's Fool also features Jessica Tandy in her last film, Bruce Willis, and Melanie Griffith. Paul Newman lost to Tom Hanks, who won his second consecutive Best Actor Oscar for the blockbuster Forrest Gump. But I doubt anyone who saw Nobody's Fool would disagree that Newman's performance might have been a better choice that year than the film for which he won the Oscar, The Color of Money. Did you see Nobody's Fool? Was this one of Paul Newman's best?
What happened?
Nothing. Nothing bad.
I was on the floor.
Nothing bad happened. Honestly, Rich.
Was I loud? Did it take long?
It was a couple of minutes, maybe.
Or was I loud?
It was just a tiny little voice. You could hardly hear it.
Speaking of Paul Newman, he also received a nomination as Best Director for 1968's Rachel, Rachel, starring his Oscar-winning wife, Joanne Woodward. This sensitive story of a lonely, repressed schoolteacher earned Woodward her second of 4 Best Actress nominations. The film was nominated for Best Picture, but Newman was snubbed for Director.
Leighton, is there something special you have in mind?
Oh, well, Angela and I were wondering if you'd like to have some supper with us at home tonight. Well, she'd really like it. So would I. I mean, we've been meaning to have you for a very long time, but... Well, Angela's been busy with out-of-town relations, and now summer's here, and we haven't had our little Rachel in for a Angela's been busy with out-of-town relations, and now summer's here, and we haven't had our little Rachel in for a single meal.
Rachel, Rachel garnered critical acclaim, but only reached audiences in the big cities, like New York, where Woodward and her husband collected the top prizes at that year's Critics Awards. This is a small-scale, somewhat sad movie about a woman's journey to self-discovery. I won't give away the end. As for Best Actress of 1968, Joanne Woodward had the dubious honor of being among the remaining 3 nominees who didn't reach the vote total that brought the infamous tie between Katharine Hepburn and Barbra Streisand. Now, if you admire Joanne Woodward, I recommend Rachel, Rachel. It's not a film for everyone, but I think Oscar nerds like us will appreciate it.
Olivia service?
The day after tomorrow.
Well, I suppose I should get off the phone and book a plane flight.
The service is just for family.
For family, of course. Well, thank you for calling.
Colin Firth received his first of 2 Best Actor nominations for A Single Man. In this story of a gay man's struggles dealing with the death of his partner of 16 years, the actor's quiet sensitivity belied the emotional pain his character, English professor George Falconer, experienced when encountering not only his best friend, played by Oscar winner Julianne Moore, but with his unorthodox relationship with Kenny, one of his students.
So is that what you really think after all these years? You think Jim was just some kind of substitute for real love? Jim was not a substitute for anything. Do you understand?
And there is no substitute for Jim anywhere. And by the way, what is so real about your relationship with Richard? He left you after 9 years.
Directed by fashion designer Tom Ford, who financed the film himself, A Single Man covers the themes of old truths and potential new beginnings with honesty and quiet intensity, and features Colin Firth at his best. Though he lost the Oscar that year to Jeff Bridges in Crazy Heart, Firth won for the following year's Best Picture, The King's Speech. If you saw A Single Man, you probably remember the unusual home interior of Firth's character. Well, it wasn't shot on a soundstage. In fact, the home really does exist, and I was able to see it in person years ago when I participated in a local architectural tour. I can tell you that the house, both inside and out, is indeed quite unusual. As for the film itself, it's not an easy one to watch, but I still recommend it for its unapologetic look at emotions all of us feel when dealing with life and death.
You see, it's difficult for you with someone like me, but you've just got to keep telling me, and then I'll start to take it in. With me, you've got to be dead firm. You won't hurt me feelings. If I do something that's crap, I don't want pity. I want you to tell me that's crap.
How about a more upbeat movie? Julie Walters earned her first nomination for 1983's Educating Rita. Based on the play of the same name, the movie about a working-class hairdresser whose efforts to better herself result in a fish-out-of-water story when she meets jaded tutor Dr. Frank Bryant, played by Oscar winner Michael Caine. Rita becomes perhaps too good a student, falling into a lifestyle she originally tried to avoid.
I thought that was the right answer. I sort of encapsulated all my ideas into one line.
Rita, it's the basis for an argument, but a single line is not an essay. You know that as well as I do.
Dame Julie Walters originated the role of Rita on the London stage and recreated it for her film debut, although producers wanted Dolly Parton instead. I think Parton would have been good if she was cast along the producer's other choice, Paul Newman. But Walters and Caine were just as good, if not a better match. Interestingly, the same production team also produced Positive Results a decade later with Shirley Valentine, which I discussed in a prior video. Julie Walters steals the film with her excellent performance, even though she likely knew that the Oscar that year was going to go to Shirley MacLaine and that year's Best Picture winner, Terms of Endearment. Have you seen Educating Rita? Did you find Walters as charming as I did? Here are some quick takes on performances I enjoyed in films that were smaller in stature. In 1984's Under the Volcano, Albert Finney received his third Best Actor nomination for his intense portrayal of an alcoholic consul to Mexico.
My name is Blackstone. William Blackstone.
You cabron, Juden.
No, Blackstone. Jews very seldom, Baracho?
Jean Tierney was known more for her beauty than her acting ability, but in 1945's Leave Her to Heaven, she got the opportunity to play a woman whose fatal attraction-like obsession drives her to murder, and an Oscar nomination.
I'm sorry, Russ. Really, I am. I never expected you to come here in the midst of a political campaign.
When do you plan to be married?
As soon as possible.
Would it be convenient for you to postpone it until the fall?
Until after election, you mean?
Well, it wouldn't do me much good for the news to get out that I'd been jilted and thrown aside like an old shoe.
Oh, come now, Russ. Surely there's no political significance in the fact that a lady has changed her mind.
Talk about strong stuff. Many believe Rod Steiger should have won Best Actor for 1965's The Pawnbroker, a dark film about a university professor who survives life in a concentration camp.
Now tell me where you thought it was coming from. I don't know. Oh, that makes you stupid, Professor. You're living right in it. Right in the middle of one big whorehouse, right in the bosom of the world. How do you say it? Filth? Horror? Right in the middle of it, and you don't know it.
Diane Lane finally received recognition and a nomination as Best Actress for her performance in the 2002 thriller Unfaithful.
I'm sorry. I can't remember. A fundraiser, I think.
Can you be more specific?
Juilliard.
Juilliard.
The music school.
Yes, I know what Juilliard is.
Of course you do. I'm sorry.
I don't know how many people saw Richard Jenkins in 2007's The Visitor, but if you were one of them, you know how good he was in a film that has relevance today.
You can't just take people away like that. Do you hear me? He was a good man, a good person. It's not fair. We are not just helpless children. He had a life. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? What's the matter with you?
No stranger to the Oscars, two-time winner Glenda Jackson earned another Best Actress nomination for 1971's Sunday Bloody Sunday.
For God's sake! Caring a lot about someone, is that too much? People who have some time for each other, is that too much? I've had this business. Anything is better than nothing. There are times when nothing has to be better than anything.
Trivia. Can you name the future Oscar winner in this clip from the film? I didn't know what to expect from 2022's Living. I was not familiar with the story and only knew of its leading man from a few films. But I gotta tell you, this tale of a London bureaucrat's final days was surprisingly good. And I was really tempted to vote for Bill Nye for the SAG Award. Secretly, I was hoping he would pull an upset and win the Oscar. That kind of shock would have pleased me to no end.
You see, today is my picture's day. I was merely wishing for a companion. Oh, well. Cary Grant, Miss Holmes. I understood you were quite fond of him.
Living was based on the 1952 Japanese film Ikaru, which means to live. You know I love these small films that focus on character and how the plot revolves around the individual. Though nominated by all the major precursors, Bill Nye was not likely recognized, at least by some Oscar viewers. But as discussed on this channel, The Academy needs to concentrate more on choosing the best candidates rather than trying to appeal to the movie-going public at large. And while some maintain that the Oscars are a popularity contest, I still believe they have gotten it more right than wrong. And the nomination for Bill Nye gave me hope that a film like Living can still be acknowledged. Now, were you among those who saw Living? Did Nye impress you as much as he did me?
I read somewhere that everybody on this planet is separated by only 6 other people. 6 degrees of separation between us and everyone else on this planet. The President of the United States, the gondolier in Venice, just fill in the names. I find that extremely comforting that we're so close, but I also find it like Chinese water torture that we're so close because you have to find the right 6 people to make the connection.
Stalker Channing is one of my all-time favorites, and it bothers me to this day that she is remembered most for her role as Rizzo in Grease. Sure, she was wonderful as always in that blockbuster, but Channing never got film roles she deserved, and only has 1 Oscar nomination to her credit, Best Actress for 1993's 6 Degrees of Separation, a role she originated on Broadway.
But it was an experience. I will not turn him into an anecdote. How do we keep what happens to us? How do we fit it into life without turning it into an anecdote? With no teeth and a punchline you'll mouth over and over years to come. Oh, that reminds me of the time that imposter came into our lives. Oh, tell the one about that boy. And we become these human jukeboxes, spilling out these anecdotes, but it was an experience. How do we keep the experience?
Though 6 Degrees of Separation has not been seen by many, the title has become an oft-used phrase in our vernacular. Stalker Channing has been recognized by her peers with a Tony Award and 3 Emmys. Her film career started off promisingly with 1975's The Fortune, where she landed the female lead alongside Warren Beatty and Jack Nicholson. But the film bombed, as did several of her follow-ups. Grease put her back on the map, but she followed that up with 2 terrible television sitcoms. I didn't expect Channing to win the Oscar for 6 Degrees, given she was up against not only Holly Hunter, who won for The Piano, but also Angela Bassett in What's Love Got to Do with It. I do know that she had a chance of winning for that film the following year, but that's for another video. Do you think Stalker Channing has been underutilized in film? Was Grease the best she could get? Eventual Oscar winner Alan Arkin was very moving in 1968's The Heart is a Lonely Hunter, based on the novel by Carson McCullers. Arkin was nominated for Best Actor for his portrayal of John Singer, a deaf-mute loner who profoundly influences the lives of those around him. So as you've likely gathered by now, I tend to favor films that deal with themes such as loneliness and isolation. There's a reason for that, but I digress. I've always enjoyed Alan Arkin's work, and I think his resume consists of a diverse set of characterizations. Of course, he had no dialogue in The Heart of the Lonely Hunter, which, from an actor's standpoint, requires great skill to convey thoughts and emotions solely through one's eyes and movements. Though Arkin lost to Cliff Robertson in Charlie that year, another film about a man facing physical challenges, many actors won Oscars for not speaking, which I covered in another video. I don't know if The Heart of the Lonely Hunter is thought about much today. Do you have any memories of this film? I want to talk about an actress who definitely needs to be an Oscar winner, But first, I want to say thanks for letting me share my Oscar nerdness with you. Oscar is almost a century old, and though he's not perfect, I find him fun to salute. After the video concludes with a clip of an Oscar nominee, will you please click on the like button? And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please join us for weekly videos and daily polls, where your opinions are always welcomed.
So what you're telling me is to be bored, and then bored, and finally bored again, but this time for the rest of my life. This whole stupid country is bored. There's no life in it, or colour, or fun. It's probably just as well the Russians are going to drop a nuclear bomb on us any day now.
Do you like Carrie Mulligan's work as much as I do? As 16-year-old schoolgirl Jenny Muller in 2009's An Education, Mulligan charmed the pants off of me. Witty and wise beyond her years, Mulligan's portrayal in this coming-of-age drama brought her a Best Actress nomination, along with a slew of recognition, all of which I feel she richly deserved.
You have no idea how boring everything was before I met you. Action is character, our English teacher says. I think it means that if we never did anything, we wouldn't be anybody. And I never did anything before I met you.
Carrie Mulligan appeared in a handful of films before An Education, though that is the film that brought her to my attention, and I haven't forgotten her since. Though she had to wait a few years before her second nomination for Promising Young Woman, and you know I think she was robbed that year, and her third for Maestro. Simply put, Carrie Mulligan has to become an Oscar winner, and hopefully soon. I don't have those thoughts about too many other actors. Most I can take or leave as to whether they get the Golden Boy. But Mulligan has proven herself to be an actress of exceptional skill, one that should be among those before her, some deserving, some not, who have one of these guys in their possession. Now, this might be more important to me than Carrie Mulligan herself, but at least there's someone I'll be rooting for in the future. In addition to Carrie Mulligan's performance in An Education, share with us some nominees who you think were Academy underdogs in films that are not necessarily known outside of our Oscar nerddom. As always, I appreciate your input. And until we meet again, I'll leave you with this.
We'll have a wonderful life. We can skip the schmoozing, pick the boy up, take him to the police, and be at Sotheby's before 9.